Soon people came from far and wide to try and mend the king's teapot. Wizards waved magic wands and muttered strange-sounding words. Blacksmiths tried to fix patches on the teapot. Tricksters tried to replace the teapot with a new one. But nobody could mend the teapot. At last, a page at the king's court mentioned about a young man who lived in Leapington who seemed to have a knack of mending things. The king, who was by this time gasping for a cup of tea, ordered the whole court to follow him to find this boy called Peter. They say he can fix most anything, from a baby's rattle to a broken wing, to mend the teapot. He's the one, Peter the boy from Leapington. At last they reached the village of Leapington, where all the villagers directed the king and his party to where Peter lived. Peter was surprised when he opened the door, not only to see all the village outside, but the king and all his courtiers. Are you Peter?" asked the king, "the boy who can fix anything?" Well, I try," replied Peter, quickly adding, "Your Majesty," as he tried to bow at the same time. "Peter," said the king, "I'm here with the royal teapot, which could not seem to be mended by anyone. Can you fix it?" "I'll do my best, sire, but it may take a while," replied Peter. So, taking the teapot from the king, Peter went back into his old smithy, where soon the smoke appeared from the chimney. Meanwhile, the king and his courtiers and the villagers settled down to wait. The king, of course, seated on his royal portable throne in a royal portable tent, waiting for his royal cup of tea. As they waited and waited, the sound of hammering along with the voice of Peter could be heard. Mend it for the king. Hammer and anvil, hear them ring. Fix the teapot, make it right. The king will have his tea tonight. Mend it for the king. The right bit of metal, that's the thing. Patch it, fix it, seal it tight. The king will have his tea tonight. This song and the steady beating of the hammer soon had the king and all the people dozing off to sleep in the warm, sunny afternoon. Late in the evening, the king was wakened from his slumbers by a knock on the royal tent door, which was not an easy thing to do on a tent. Your evening cup of tea, your Majesty," said a voice. As the king rubbed his eyes and looked again, there was the smiling face of Peter. In one hand a mended teapot, in the other a fresh steaming cup of tea. The king took one sip from the steaming cup, and a smile lit up his face as he burst into song. "A cup of tea, a cup of tea, Peter the fixer has brought it to me. Mended the teapot, mended it good, here in the workshop deep in the wood. A cup of tea, a cup of tea, a cup of tea, a cup of tea, Peter the fixer has fixed it for me. Give him the kingdom, shower him with gold, all over the country let his story be told. A cup of tea, a cup of tea." The king and his courtiers and all the village joined in, all pleased that at last the king was happy, as without his tea he'd been, well, to tell the truth, a very grumpy person. At last they all stopped singing and dancing. The king ordered a fresh cup of tea and told Peter to kneel before him. "For fixing the royal teapot, from this day hence you will be known as Sir Teapot." No, not Sir Teapot, Sir Pot. That's right, Sir Pot of Saucepan Hill. So that is how Peter became a knight, and the king got his teapot fixed.